Across the Park podcast is proud to be sponsored by Globe Gas and Heating. For the best kitchen and bathroom renovations, boiler servicing and repair, and central and underfloor heating in the Northwest, head over to globecentralheating.com and quote Across the Park for a free quote. Hello, welcome to Across the Park podcast, big match preview with myself, Ian Mills. Delighted to be joined by Dee from Back of the Nest, the Crystal Palace podcast and YouTube channel. Dee, thanks for coming on. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me on. We've been trying to sort something out for a while, but finally we managed to sort it out. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, but thank you for having me on the channel.
Oh, it has, mate. Yeah, we tried to get you on for the October clash, didn't we, at Goodison Park? And as always, people don't realise we've got real lives and real work commitments and families, so it's really, really great to get you on. I want to talk about Crystal Palace's season. I want to talk about Everton's season. I want to talk about the game. Before I get into that, I just want to go back to last May, Everton 3, Crystal Palace 2. I'm not sure whether you were there, but I guarantee you're probably watching if you weren't. What was it like on the other end of the spectrum for you to watch a game like that with such emotion in it and nothing riding on it?
It was still frustrating. I mean, it was the lead up to, we lost the Chelsea semi-final in the FA Cup, and then we had a bad run of games where we just couldn't get things going. And then in that game, it seemed like, you know, we was doing fine. Then all of a sudden, everything just crumbled once again. It was like, oh, what's going on? And there was a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. And in all honesty, there are lots of Palace fans that are kind of frustrated by it. They still haven't moved on from it. And,
really?
And even in this game, they're like, now's the time to get revenge for what they did to us last May. and the conversation's still going on. It's not just last May. I mean, you guys beat us 3-0 in October as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you've been getting good results against us. So on the Palace side of things, we're more eager to get a result in this game based on the past incidents. And some Palace fans just simply can't move on from it.
Right, it's interesting to hear that. I didn't quite realise that would be the answer. I thought fair enough. I suppose if I was on the other end of the foot and I seen that emotion and we're going through a frustrating time, but I think Dale would say we owed you from the quarter-final of the Cup last season at Selhurst Park. Yeah, you annihilated us that day 4-0, so we owed you something. I'm not too sure we owe you again. I'm hoping that we do get something, but we will get into that. What I want to do, a lot of Evertonians watching this will rightfully not be aware of the ins and outs of Palace's season. We watch things from afar when it's other clubs, probably similar to you with Everton. You don't know in the weeds, but you see things going on. So just to get a little perspective of your season, it's been a big season where you change managers. Now I'm looking at your season. There's some decent results at the start of the season. It doesn't look like you had a bad start. You're beating teams around you. You're beating teams above you. We all of a sudden, on paper, Europe doesn't seem to help. That seemed to not really help at all. Maybe the number of games. Then we get into the Tottenham game after Christmas, the Southampton game after Christmas, Chelsea, who are in no good form. It seems from afar to be going wrong after Christmas. Is that fair? And what do you think it was that happened there?
I think it's a build-up of things. There's not just one factor that I can put it down to. So last season, everyone knows that Crystal Palace were playing some great football, and it was new. It was a new era, and Palace side that was exciting to watch. But this season, we just didn't build on it. We didn't build on it, and it starts from the recruitment. In all honesty, I mean, we brought in one or two good players and improved the depth in areas, but we still haven't sorted that position that we needed to sort out. We didn't replace the players that even left last season, the likes of Conor Gallagher, and it was a case of we didn't build on it, and that I feel like that's cost us, as well as I feel like Patrick Vieira, after the World Cup, I believe there was meant to be talks about his contract situation, about, you know, whether we want to extend it or not, and that got delayed and delayed and delayed, and at the end of it, he got sacked. And I feel like he kind of gave up as well. And I don't blame him, because why would you want to, you know, put your all in for a job that you might not even be in this job because your current employees are not giving you a contract to extend you. So there was a combination of things, but it started from the summer with not signing enough players. I mean, we saw, for example, Wan-Bissaka about 3-4 years ago now. We still haven't signed a replacement right back. Gallagher, who was very key for us. in that number 8 role last season. We didn't replace him. We let go of a striker, didn't replace him, and that's the thing really. We spent one of the least amount of money in the Premier League this season, despite having a successful period last season. And yeah, it was frustrating. But the main thing is the owners didn't believe in Vieira. Maybe that's why they didn't want to spend the money. But yeah, it lots of questions asked about even the ownership as well. Why didn't you believe in Vieira after it was going so well? But look, that era is done. We got Roy Hodgson, and it's been fine so far. It's been fine so far, and we go again in the summer for another rebuild.
I always say on this podcast, I don't speak for every fan. Everyone's got different opinions, but if you can maybe say how the majority of Palace fans felt, did they back the decision to get rid of Vieira?
It's hard because I was one that wanted Vieira to stay. The results weren't going for us 100% in terms of wins. We was winless for about 3 months.
Yeah.
But if you look at the run of games that we had, it was just beyond ridiculous. Like we literally played every single team that's just well above us. And during that run, we also had Zaha out injured in that period. Joachim Andersen was out injured as well. But we still managed to pick up results. We were solid defensively, but in attack we was poor. But when it came down to it, I was very annoyed. Because I felt like the results side of business, yes, we're not getting the results, but it's also down to the lack of recruitment. I mean, we still have huge weaknesses in our sides, and we just didn't back him. If we backed Vieira and it didn't work out, then I'll say 100%, that's fine. Get rid of him. But it was that what if factor. What if we backed him? What if the players came in? And what if it worked out in the end? That's why I would have liked him to stay till the summer. But look, I moved on now. But there was some people that were just simply saying, I'm not a fan. They're just not fans of Vieira. Maybe we should be doing more with the squad. And they have a point as well, because, you know, despite your hard run of games and the fixture list was absolutely ridiculous, you still are expected to pick up a win or two here and there against tough opponents. Like, that is expected in the Premier League. We see lower sides in the division always, you know, pick up results here and there as a shock. But that didn't happen with Palace. So, you know, it was a split. I don't think the majority were upset that he went. I don't think the majority, you know, I don't think the fan base wanted him to stay. It was like a 50-50 split for me. Some of them wanted him gone and blamed him. Some of them wanted him to stay and blamed the ownership for the lack of, you know, spending to improve the squad.
Fair enough. It was a surprise to me, and by reading media and by speaking to other fans of other football clubs, surprised to them that Roy Hodgson at 75, I think he is back as the Palace manager. I'd say probably short term, depending on how you end the season. But did it surprise Palace fans that it was Roy Hodgson?
Yes, it did. It did. It's a bit of a hard one, because I don't think Roy Hodgson would have came out of retirement. I know he was recently with Watford, but then after that, he said he's retired for any other club. So there was a lot of frustration. And for me, it wasn't based on the fact that Roy Hodgson's come to the football club, because in his eyes, he wants to do a favor to the club. Like, he still loves the club. He's local as well. He grew up in this area, and he just wants, you know, 10 games, come in and sort everything out. And he's done that fine so far anyways. But yeah, look, it was the lack of ambition. That was the most frustrating thing about it. Not just Roy Hodgson. It's the fact that, you know, funny enough, the reports came out after saying that the board wanted to sack Vieira last year, February, which was, in my eyes, that's just ridiculous. I mean, last year was playing some great football, FA Cup run. What did we really expect? But then again, afterwards, reports started coming out about, you know, Vieira and his relationship with players, and apparently he wanted to apply to the Leeds job whilst at Palace. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we didn't know about. So when Roy Hodgson came in, there was that frustration. But for me, and for I think for the fan base, it wasn't down to Roy. It was more on the ownership for picking Roy. But then again, in the short term, if it does work out, which it seems like it is going to work out, you can't really complain, I guess. But then again, it's about what you do in the next step, because Roy Hodgson is a short-term appointment. I said this when he first joined. We've got the capabilities of staying up. We've got the capabilities of scoring goals, winning games. We've seen it under Roy Hodgson in the 17-18 season. He was with us for 4 years, and we've also seen the stale moments. We've got good enough squad, and we've seen that so far in the last 3 games. So we've been playing good football. But saying that, after these 10 games, even if we do win all our games, we have to look forward. We have to look for a next manager, because if it goes on longer than 10 games, then I'm worried, and carries on to next season, I'm worried that, the good times may not last as it is right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Again, from the outside, he's doing something. I'll be honest with you, in January, February, and March, I was looking at Palace as there's always one, and I was just watching you come down. And the more little points teams at the bottom picked up, the closer that gap came. And then all of a sudden, despite you being 12th, you were only 6 points off things. And I'm gutted that it's worked, because I thought you were the ones. I've got no problem in saying that. What have you done differently?
I think it's down to look, we can go talk about tactics, football manager. We talk about managers, it's always about tactics and what he does, formation. But I think it's down to confidence and giving belief in some of these players that weren't performing under Vieira. The likes of Eze that's been performing in the last 3 games. That was a player under Vieira that wasn't getting selected. And when he was coming off the bench, he wasn't performing to the levels that he should be. He's been performing. And the likes of Edward, I mean, he scored a goal in the last 3 games as well. So I think it's down to belief. He's given belief to these players, because I feel like we've got some good quality attacking players who score goals and, good defenders as well. But the problem has been going forward. And you can see it by what the players are saying. Like, they're saying that we've got a bit more confidence about ourselves. We want to attack. We want to play football. And it's gone down to the basics, really. More direct football, attack the team on the counter-attack, and, just have fun. We're having fun out there, and it's just working out. There's no reason to complicate the situation and say, dude, there isn't much that's changed tactically. We still play like a 4-3-3. But it's more of the intent. We have an intent to attack. And we've seen that in the past under Roy Hodgson as well, in the earlier days when he was Palace manager. And we're seeing similar trends to it. So, look, I feel like he could potentially continue to the end of the season. But even if it doesn't, I feel like we reach a stage where even if we pick up a point or 2 here and there, we should be able to stay up.
I think you're okay. Apart from Saturday, I hope that run continues, because you've got some fixtures. Again, you've got Wolves, you've got West Ham, Bournemouth, and Nottingham Forest. Now, they're Everton's rivals in this fight. I do think Palace are out of it. I've got a sneaky feeling that Bournemouth are probably out of it. They put a really good run together. But I don't mind that, because we play them last game of the season. So for them to be safe would be a good thing for us. We spoke about Palace and sort of what I've seen. I've got some great feedback from you there, some great clarity. When you look as an opposition fan up the M6, what's happening at Everton? My take is it's really worrying. There's fan protest against the board. The team are not a good team. Are you looking at Everton and going, this will be the year that Everton go?
It's hard, because the reason why Everton may stay up is down to teams just worse than Everton. That's what I think it comes down to. And that's me being honest. I feel like with Everton, it's the same odd problems that you're having, and it's last season fighting relegation, this season fighting relegation. And Everton used to be a football club that was talking about, European football. I remember Lukaku was with you guys. You had some top quality players and you was looking up the table. But over time, if you don't run a football club properly, it's going to catch up to you. And I feel like this is the period. And it's just bigger than just, the players that's on the pitch. It's off the pitch as well. There's the financial issues. There's about questions being point deduction, this and that. It might not happen, but there's clearly something going on behind the scenes that's clearly not working for this situation to happen. So this season, in all honesty, Everton should be able to stay up, but it depends on the likes of Leeds. I feel like they're in it as well. They've just
Leeds are the one,
And my biggest concern for Everton is Leicester. People may say, "Oh, Leicester are down," but under Dean Smith, they could potentially move forward, and we saw it even against the likes of Manchester City in the second half, where they were creating chances and attacking. So under Dean Smith, I want to see Leicester, and if Leicester end up winning a game or two, then Everton, I don't understand it, because under Dash you would think Everton should stay up, but it's still very tight. It is still very tight, and I don't think as you said with Palace, there's no such thing as a team that's too good to go down. Leicester shouldn't be in the position they're in right now based on the players that they've got, but it all goes down to confidence, tactics, and momentum. And right now with Everton, I've been surprised by the lack of wins under Dash. I mean, he's helped along the way, picked up 1 or 2 good results, but it hasn't been as comfortable as I expected for you guys. Let's just say that.
Okay, so big game Saturday. It was a game, I'm not going to lie to you, a month ago I put on the list for Everton to win. It's no longer a game that look, I think Everton can. The scenarios where Everton can win the game. It's no longer a game I'm confident in going to win. We've got a big miss in Abdoulaye Doucouré. He's a big part of the system that Sean Dyche has implemented. He's a massive miss. Seamus Coleman, the captain, is out. Rumours that Amadou Onana, a really good box-to-box midfielder, could be out as well. And you've just got such, in the past three games, attacking threat in Eze, and you've said even Edouard there coming on and scoring goals at Leeds. I think Everton have to go and try and get a point, and I think we have to play the long game. Is this a game that you as a Palace fan is looking at and quite confident that you'll win?
I wouldn't say confident. I think it'll be tight. It'll be a tight game, but it is a game that we're looking to win. Ideally, yeah. I'd be lying if I said no, because the confidence is high right now. 3-3. We've been solid defensively. I mean, how many goals have we conceded in the last 3 games? I think only 1. It was against Leeds. So the defense hasn't slipped up under Roy, and we've improved going forward. And right now, as I said, there are teams where you look at them. Palace could be, one of them, but you're worried about complacency. You stayed up, or you think you stayed up. You're worried about, all right, let's let go of the gas. But genuinely, by hearing these players talk about the football that they're playing right now, they're looking forward to the next game. They're looking forward to, stepping out on the pitch again. It's not a case of, we stayed up, that's it, let's relax. So it's another home game. We got 3-3. We want to continue this momentum. And as you said, you've got injuries. So I think it'll be a tight game, but I feel like it will be disappointing at home if we don't beat you guys, especially what happened with, Fulham, with the Fulham game, because we're trying to catch up to Chelsea now. So, yeah, I'll be disappointed if we don't win, but also we have to respect Everton because we know under Dyche, they're going to be solid defensively. Maybe the area of concern for you guys might be going forward because we've actually been solid as well at the back.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it'll be a tight game. I think it'll be a tight game, and it's one that we're looking to win.
I think the longer it stays a tight game, I'd have more belief that Everton could possibly go and win it. I think the way teams have hurt us and how teams will continue to hurt us is by really going for us. And I think if we get a scenario where, like when Fulham scored the 3rd goal last week and put a 2-goal buffer between us, we were dead. This Everton team have been quite good under Dyche at reacting to going behind, but 2 goals behind. So I think if you find a scenario where the longer Everton are in the game and Dominic Calvert-Lewin is probably going to be on the bench and you've got the option to bring him on. So I like the fact that you think it's going to be close. It gives me a little bit more confidence. I'm just a really, really worried football fan. Any Evertonian watching this probably does share that. If Everton go down with the financial implications of what happens, I think it'll be a really, really serious scenario. Palace is still a game where I think Everton can get something. I'm like I said, I'm not confident really that we'll go and win, but who knows? We went to Leicester so we beat Chelsea and Leicester back-to-back last May. That's what pulled us out. You've won 3 games. I'll say it in case you don't want to jinx yourself. I think it's pulled you out. So you just need that one win, then go and get another one, and you're almost out of it. So it can be done. I'm going to give you my prediction before I ask for yours. I'm going to go 1-1. I can. If we're going to Mystic Mega, I think you'll go 1-0 up, and I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin will come on and score the equaliser. What would you give me your prediction?
See, 1-1, it sounds fair, and I can see that 100% happening. But if I was to back my boys, I would go for 1-0. I'll go for 1-0. I think it might be a tight game. The reason why I could see it also being 1-1 is with on set pieces. Not that we're bad on set pieces, but I can see Everton, scoring a set piece goal, and then Palace, coming back and scoring another goal, and then it ends in a draw. But I'm going to go for 1-0 Palace. We're at home. The fan base is genuinely excited about this game. There's excitement rather than fear in games for the first time in a long time, and the players are excited as well. I feel like it'll be a tight game, but as long as our defense remains solid, as it has been all season long, not just the last 3 games, then I feel like we got enough in attack to cause Everton problems, especially with your injuries. So I think it might be a tight 1-0. But saying that, I won't be surprised with a 1-0 as well.
Fair enough. And everyone we get on the show from the opposition fan, we always ask for how they see the season going for both teams. We're in the run now. All the times we've looked at the running and we've said we're nearly there. We're now in it. Both teams are in this run. I think Palace is safe. I think you guys are fine. I think Everton will stay up as the 4th worst team in the league. I think that's whereabout we are. Would you go too far away from that? What are your predictions for where both teams will end the season?
I agree with Everton staying up. I feel like you guys will stay up one way or another. It might be tight, but you should be able to stay up because there are, as you said, 3 worst teams right now as it is anyways. That Leicester factor I'm not too sure about. But then again, I feel like you're better than Leeds as well. There's a bit more certainty there. So Everton should be able to stay up this season. Will Palace, in all honesty, I genuinely don't know where we'll end up. It purely depends. We're taking it game by game. So right now on 36 points, we're about 3 points off Chelsea. So we're looking to catch up to Chelsea, ideally. But, if we remain 12th, we've been 12th for about 3 months, it feels like. We just haven't moved away from 12th. I feel like that we'll be okay with that, but we're looking to, let go of 12th place and actually push up the table and, challenge for 11th or 10th potentially, depending on. But we're taking it game by game, literally. As long as we stay up and then we win games and play nice football, that's the most important. Just end the season on a high, not on a league position. Of course, you want to finish high as possible in the league, but end the season on a high in terms of football and confidence, and get something to carry on to the next manager. So I think we'll stay up and maybe 11th or 12th, depending on how results go from now to the end of the season.
Fair enough. It's been great to have you on, D. Any Palace fans who are watching on the hashtag, the Crystal Palace hashtag we put on the video, who may not be familiar with your channel, do you want to just tell them, who you are, what you are, and what you've got coming up?
Yeah, so we're back of the nest. We're Crystal Palace fan channel, so we do a bunch of content, live match reactions, daily news updates regarding Palace. Just previews and reviews, just basically everything in the content side of things with Palace. So yeah, if you want to go check out Back of the Nest on YouTube and all social media platforms.
Top man, D, it's been great to have you on. I'm hoping that we can do this again next season. There's only one scenario where we can't, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But you've been very, very kind with your time, and I know we're on a working day, and you've took a lunch to do this, so we do appreciate it. D, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
No worries. Thank you for having me on.